A terrible threat had come upon the world of men. One bill to rule them all, that would cover the world in the second darkness and forbid cool hats. And so, the free people of Rock County convened a secret council.
Strangers from distant lands, friends of old, you've been summoned here to answer the threat of Madison. Matube stands on the brink of destruction. You will unite, or you will fail.
It's a gift. Why not use this law? My father has kept the forces of Madison at bay with the blood of patriots. Give us the power to defeat the Democrats and the Republicans. Let us use it against them.
You cannot wield it. None of us can. It's a law. It's libertarians are kind of against that kind of thing.
You only have one choice. The law must be destroyed. Nothing we can do here will destroy it. The law was signed in the fires of Mount Madison, and there it must be destroyed. It must be taken to Madison and cast into the fiery chasm from which it came.
One does not simply walk into Madison. It's guarded by more than police. There's evil there that does not sleep. Politicians.
I will go! I will go! I will go to Madison, and I will destroy this law. But I don't know where it is. Where's Madison?
If by my life or death I can save you, I will. You have my mallet.
You have my bumper stickers.
You have my pamphlet.
And you have my bunny ears.
An undetermined amount of companions. So be it. You shall be called the Fellowship of...
The Ring?
No. You shall be called the Fellowship of...
The hats?
The Fellowship of...
Libertarianism?
No. The Fellowship of Matube.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Matube. My name's Steve.
And I'm Chris.
And this week's subject is going to be social justice warriors.
It's been a long time coming.
Yep, those special little snowflakes who love to complain about everything. I think we should touch on what an actual social justice warrior is. And to me, a social justice warrior is someone who takes on a particular issue and gets a little too excited about said issue.
People who are almost God tier at getting offended.
Yeah, they tend to get a little too upset too easily. Triggered, I think, is the trigger word.
A lot of times they're distinguished by their ability to take an isolated incident and treat it as the norm.
Yeah, they get, one instance of discrimination of some sort, and they think that means discrimination is all across the board.
It's one thing to say, there's certain pockets, regions, stuff like that where things are more prevalent, and yeah, that's something to really be concerned about, and I'm not going to try to minimize any of that. But to act like everybody is either, a closet racist or closet homophobe or closet what have you, I'm sure they'll come up with new ones.
There's always some buzzword. We are going to go ahead and dig deep into these issues. Every single one of them.
All of them.
Yep.
We are broadcast journalists.
Yep. And we are going to be hard-hitting, informative, intelligent, somewhat intelligent. But by the time you're done with this, you're going to know everything you need to know about the issues SJWs have.
No stone unturned.
None. So I think we should start with...
Wait a minute, Steve.
What?
Let's make this fun.
Oh, of course. Feminism.
What right do women have? Multiple genders.
You know, Chris, if we had a host from a tube for every gender, nothing would change. Gay, trans discrimination.
Just pee wherever you want, guys. Wage gap.
Does not exist. White privilege.
Really doesn't exist. Safe spaces.
You say what you want to say, I'll say what I want to say. We don't need special places for that. Mansplaining.
Well, the thing about mansplaining is, see, way back in the 1970s, some guys would start saying things that were, manspreading.
One of the main ones that we want to talk about is feminism. And I think the reason why is because feminism was important, but now you have third wave feminists who are a little militant about it.
It feels like they're trying to justify their existence at this point. I mean, there's a time when women couldn't vote. Yeah, feminism was legit.
But now they have every right that a man has. In fact, the wage gap, as everybody likes to talk about, doesn't, like I said, doesn't exist. And if it did exist, President Obama signed into law the Nutty Bedwetter Law. Or something, which basically says that if there's discrimination when it comes to pay for women, they can now sue their employer. So we've managed to put laws into place that cover a lot of these issues already.
During our little lightning round fun we were having, we thought about mentioning institutionalized racism, but there's something there.
It's one of the only ones that actually existed, and there are laws now in place to keep it from happening, but it still does a little bit, and it was actually a thing, especially in the 60s with the Jim Crow laws. There's no reason to bash someone when they talk about that necessarily, because there's a lot more other issues that they seem to bring up that don't really matter, like mansplaining or manspreading.
Of course, where we've always been coming from is it's more a matter of the fact that there are these institutions that racists can use to their advantage.
Yep. If you have someone in a position of power, then they can use that position for evil, I guess, if you will. And if we didn't have those institutions, then we wouldn't have to worry about that.
If you had 8,000 laws on the books, you can enforce those just as selectively as you like.
SJWs will take a single case and run with it as though it is proof of their idea of what is going on. That is mostly an example of confirmation bias.
That might be the biggest plague on any kind of political dialogue there is, because you can literally find something to prove any point, no matter how out there.
One of the issues that we want to talk about is white privilege, which I feel we're kind of qualified to discuss.
As somebody who cleans toilets for a living, not so much.
I think when you start talking about white privilege, what people see is old money.
A class thing, not a race thing.
Yep, white privilege is a class privilege.
What you'll notice about SJWs is they'll take that modicum of truth and they will become so loud and obnoxious with it, it just turns people off. Of course, people aren't going to want to listen to them if they're being shouted at. And with more on that, here comes the Wonder Spud herself, Jessica Baird.
I cannot preach against enough is you cannot shame people, you cannot bully people into believing what you believe. That is impossible. You cannot say, hey, you're a homophobe, and oh, wow, all of a sudden I think that gays are equal to straights. No, that's not how that works. You need to love the crap out of people and calmly explain to them why they're wrong. You know, you don't get anywhere by doing that. And that is the one thing that I think social justice warriors are the best at, shaming people. I got shamed for being a racist because I said, hey guys, like, I didn't vote for Trump or for Hillary. I'm a libertarian, but I think that you should not attack Trump supporters. That's not how to get your point across. And I got shamed by, I don't know, 20 social justice warriors for saying that they shouldn't shame someone. I think that's insane. You know, they weren't shaming my views, they were just shaming the fact that I said, hey, maybe love someone instead of hate them. And I think that is the number one reason that Trump got elected, is because forever now, if you are a Republican, you just get attacked for it by any liberal, to the point where it's insane. And I see a lot less of that action from Republicans to liberals. It does exist, but on a much smaller scale, in my opinion. And that's just, it's upsetting, you know, and it almost makes you feel bad for Republicans until, you know, you remember Bush. But, yeah, it's really frustrating, and I don't understand that entire mentality. I'm sure that's why Trump got elected, because they were so quieted, and they had almost no voice until they were able to kind of state their opinion, you know, and make Trump president. And I think it's the same reason that the Christian church is having problems, is because they were bullying people into a lot of things. Like, you know, they were all up in the gay rights thing. And if you just calm your voice enough to love people, your voice will be louder. You know, people listen to a whisper more than they listen to a shout. That's how that works. You drive past a guy, you know, yelling on the street, but if you see someone being kind, you want to know what they have to say. And I think that that's the biggest problem with every party, but specifically the Liberal Party, the social justice warriors. They're just too much. I mean, they're never going to get anywhere, which I'm kind of glad of, actually, by yelling at people. And it just makes them obnoxious. It doesn't make them right. And I don't know if they know the difference.
I think people are buried in their own self-interest, and that's what happens, is they can't see past themselves to actually see how someone else feels or thinks. So once they start talking about these issues, they can't stop to see someone else's ideas.
Or they start to get heard, and they start pressing their advantage. They think, oh, here's our chance to just bulldoze.
Yeah, or they get like one victory because there is some issues, and once they get that victory, they think that they have to push it on everyone.
I could go into this big long thing about how what happens when you pull one moral issue out of the entirety of morality and it becomes bloated to madness in its isolation. But that's a long discussion.
All right, man. Good show.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Oh, okay.
All right. So if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe and share. Do the things.
Not so fast. Did you think we'd forgotten about you, right-wing SJWs? It's not going to be that easy.
United States turning Islamic.
Your Muslim president, last year alone, dropped over 26,000 bombs on Muslim countries. Black privilege.
No. Fake news.
No faker than Fox. Insane liberal college professors.
We'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Bathroom wars.
Again, just be where you want, guys. The war on Christmas.
Hey, you say Merry Christmas, I'll say Happy Holidays. You do you, boo. I'll do me. White genocide.
The Jewish global conspiracy.
Flag desecration.
It's a piece of cloth! So you may have noticed by now a pattern developing. Whether the left or the right, SJWs are really about the collective over the individual.
And that's one of the main problems we actually have, is that if we had more individualism, kind of like the country was founded on, we wouldn't have nearly as many SJWs and we wouldn't have nearly as much bickering back and forth.
Most don't seem to realize it, at least I hope they don't realize it. But they're just further dividing people into little subgroups. The thing that they're supposed to be against, people being judged on surface elements rather than as human beings.
And that's when you have things like safe spaces or anything where you're segregating someone for any reason. You have collectivism, and you make these people protected classes.
It can be super messy having different opinions flying around and trying to find a common ground, but where do you get quarantining yourselves? I mean, cloistering yourself according to this like subset of belief. Basically, everyone's shouting past each other.
Yeah, we're not talking to each other, we're talking at each other. Alright everyone, that's been our episode. Make sure if you like this video to like, share, subscribe, and do all those things that we would like you to do.
And also, come check us out on the Facebook Matu Viewers and Contributors group. Yeah, you can join anytime you want. I'll let you in. It's really cool. Find out the kind of stuff that we might request, videos and stuff from time to time, and yeah, get involved.
Yep.
Be on the show.
Yes. Alright everyone, have a nice night.
See ya.
Oh, and libertarian SJWs, don't think we forget about you either.
Morand.
Which one?
Both?
My Rothbard.
My Austrian economics.
My Ron Paul.
My Austin Peterson.
My gold standard.
My anarchists aren't helping. That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
Do you want to know what real privilege is? Right-handed privilege. Okay? Seriously. You ever try to cut a piece of paper with right-handed scissors when you're left-handed? Or open a can of beans with a right-handed can opener? You need to accept your right-hand privilege right now, right here. The world is created for right-handed people, not left-handed people.
Well, I did have to try to use your left-handed mouse clicky thing, and
Yeah,
I felt
but
your
think
pain.
about every time I go to a computer at like a library or anywhere like that, I have to use a right-handed mouse. I say I'm starting it right here from right now. I am going to get a bill passed or law passed in this country that says every computer that is open to public use has to have a left and a right mouse on it.